President Zelenskyy of Ukraine once again showing what real courage is, standing up to the authoritarian regime of Vladimir Putin and Russia, also standing up against the authoritarian regime of Donald Trump and what Trump has turned the United States into, and rallying the entire world. Zelenskyy's message follows one of the biggest tragedies since Russia unlawfully invaded Ukraine over the weekend on Palm Sunday, as innocent Ukrainians were going to church and celebrating this day with their family. Russia sent 2 ballistic missiles into the city of Sumy, killing 32 innocent Ukrainians and seriously injuring 117 others. This became a scene that looked like some of the worst massacres we have ever witnessed in this war. And again, there have been so many horrific events during Russia's unlawful invasion. This follows what took place 2 or 3 days ago when Donald Trump sent his special envoy, Steve Witkoff, to St. Petersburg to pledge loyalty and fealty to Vladimir Putin, something that's not getting, I don't think, any attention at all, really, on corporate news here on the United States. Of course it is in international media. Of course we cover it here on the MeidasTouch network, where Donald Trump's special envoy to Russia was in St. Petersburg. He put his hand on his heart as Vladimir Putin was going to shake his hand, and promoted the Putin regime over and over again. And what, less than 48 hours later, Putin sends 2 ballistic missiles into the city of Sumy, killing 32 and injuring 117. Before I read for you what Zelenskyy's statement is, do you think that Donald Trump made any statements about this terroristic act? Absolutely not. Donald Trump's been posting photos of himself and videos of himself going to a UFC fight over the weekend and golfing and posing in front of a gold statue of himself, while Donald Trump also makes posts about how he's tariffing and not tariffing and tariffing and not tariffing. The mind of a madman. Is Secretary of State Marco Rubio condemning the actions or making posts about what's going on? No, but I'll tell you what he is posting. He's reposting 9/11 denier and conspiracy theorist Laura Loomer, who's posting photos of Steve Witkoff, the United States Special Envoy, putting his hand on his heart, pledging allegiance to Vladimir Putin in St. Petersburg. And Laura Loomer says, Steve Witkoff has done so much for the United States and our diplomatic efforts and then she posts this video of him with Putin, and Marco Rubio's response is 100%, 100%. Our hearts here at the MeidasTouch Network go out to everybody in Sumy, all of the victims of Vladimir Putin and, frankly, Donald Trump's terroristic activities, because Trump is a Putin enabler. Let's be very clear. Ukraine has agreed over and over again to an unconditional ceasefire. It's clear Ukraine wants peace. What Donald Trump wants to do is cut a deal with Putin to steal Ukraine's rare earth minerals so that Donald Trump and Putin can carve up Ukraine. Then Donald Trump wants to annex and conquer Canada and Greenland and Panama. Donald Trump is no different than Vladimir Putin, both despicable authoritarians, and Donald Trump once again showing his true colors by having Witkoff, his special envoy, in St. Petersburg, Russia, right before Putin then sends those ballistic missiles, killing dozens on Palm Sunday. Let's take a look at what Zelenskyy just wrote. Today, many world leaders, diplomats, and ordinary people with big hearts express their condolences to Ukraine and the Ukrainian people. They condemn the Russian strike. I thank everyone who remembers that wars end when the crimes of war are not forgotten and when the aggressor is met with enough pressure. And that's exactly what's missing right now. And I think that's a message also to the United States. This Friday marked 1 month since Russia spurned the U.S. proposal for a full and unconditional ceasefire. They are not afraid. That's why they keep launching ballistic missiles. That's why there are nearly 100 attack drones every night, most of them Shahads, targeting ordinary Ukrainian cities. Russian assaults on the front line continue as well. They do not stop attacking. They do not stop spreading hatred through their state propaganda. Only pressure, only decisive action can change this. Every Russian ballistic missile, Every cruise missile, every Shahed drone, and every guided bomb strikes not only our people and our communities, but also diplomacy and the political efforts of everyone trying to end this war. We will continue doing everything we can to protect our people and save lives. You see some of these tragic pictures, and I'm not even going to show some of these videos because they are horrible, and the scenes there are so utterly tragic, so utterly tragic. Real leaders across the world, they've responded. They've posted messages. They've sent messages. They've made public statements. Of course, Donald Trump has not. Basically, every world leader that supports Ukraine has made a public statement, whether it was in Europe, whether it was Canada, Prime Minister Carney, whether it's in the UK, Keir Starmer, Australia, other than Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is Putin's pawn. Donald Trump, by the way, also posting on Sunday about how he wants his FCC commissioner chair to go after CBS again, because he doesn't like that CBS did a story on him not supporting Ukraine. That's what Donald Trump was posting. Like a madman, like a psychotic madman. That's who Donald Trump is. Take a look at Prime Minister Carney's response. Today, Russia chose once again to prolong its unjustified war of aggression on Ukraine by attacking innocent civilians in Sumy. Our thoughts are with the families of those killed and wounded in this brutal attack. Ukraine has shown its commitment to peace, and Russia must now agree to an immediate ceasefire. Canada stands with Ukraine in its fight for freedom, peace, and security today, tomorrow, and always. Take a look at what the Finland Prime Minister Alexander Stubb writes. Russia continues its barbaric war of aggression, today again slaughtering innocent civilians in Sumy. Russia shows that it has no respect for international law, humanitarian law. We must end this war. An unconditional ceasefire must begin at once. To make it commit seriously to negotiations, sanctions against Russia need to be further strengthened. President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen. This morning, Russian cruelty struck again, killing men, women, and children in the city of Sumy. A barbaric attack made even more vile as people gathered peacefully to celebrate Palm Sunday. This latest escalation is a grim reminder. Russia was and remains the aggressor in blatant violation of international law. Strong measures are urgently needed to enforce a ceasefire. Europe will continue to reach out to partners and maintain strong pressure on Russia until the bloodshed ends and a just and lasting peace is achieved on Ukraine's terms and conditions. The victims of today's attacks, their families, and all Ukrainians are in our hearts today and every day. Europe stands with Ukraine and President Zelenskyy. From Keir Starmer, from Emmanuel Macron, they all posted similar messages. Let me just show you here. This is a nearby church. You can see what happened. A Palm Sunday church service in Ukraine's city of Sumy was interrupted as Russians massacre, I think it's 34 people, near another church 3 blocks away. Here, play this clip.
Давайте разом відкриємо перше послання. Давайте молитися. І у нас
By the way, this is what it looks like when you appease Putin. Stop trying to appease Putin. Stop it. It's not even just appease. It's ally. Trump wants us to be part of the axis of evil. Steve Witkoff with his stupid hand on his heart. How despicable. How utterly despicable is that? Trump, of course, posts no statement. As our editor-in-chief, Ron Filipkowski, writes, here's the statement from Trump on Putin's Palm Sunday massacre, missile attack that killed 34, including several children and injured 117 others. Nothing, no statement. I want you to watch what Zelenskyy said here. Listen to all of his words. This is so important. Now, when you listen to what Zelenskyy says, notice how he lists all of the nations who have expressed support and sympathy. Notice that he hasn't mentioned the United States. You'll hear what he says too. He goes, well, we certainly hope others will reach out, and we expect them to. He knows they're not going to. He knows that the United States is now a full-fledged authoritarian regime. Donald Trump cuddling up to Nayib Bukele of El Salvador, Vladimir Putin, Kim Jong-un, Javier Milei of Argentina. Let's play the clip of Zelenskyy.
Volodymyr Zelenskyy, dear Ukrainians, Sumy. As of this time, 34 people are known to have been killed. My condolences to all the relatives and friends. These were 2 Russian ballistic missiles. The first hit a building, one of the buildings, university. The second exploded, practically over the street. 117 people were injured, including children, and specifically a girl born in 25. Doctors, all medical workers, are doing their utmost to help, to save as many as possible. I am grateful to all the services that arrived within minutes and began rescue operations. The strike hit right in the city center on Palm Sunday. Only an absolutely deranged scoundrel could do such a thing. Today, many state leaders, diplomats, and numerous ordinary people with big hearts expressed their condolences to Ukraine, Ukrainians, and condemned the Russian strike. There are already statements from the leaders and heads of governments of France, Britain, Germany, Denmark, Finland, Poland, leaders of the European Union, the Baltic states, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia. I am grateful to the Prime Minister of Croatia and Bulgaria, the Presidency of Moldova, the Prime Minister of the Netherlands, the President of Slovakia, the Prime Minister of Sweden. I am sure there will be support from many other leaders. I would like to thank everyone who remembers that wars end when war crimes are not forgotten and when the aggressor is sufficiently pressured. That is precisely what we lack right now. This Friday marked exactly 1 month since Russia rejected the American proposal for a full and unconditional ceasefire. They are not afraid. And that's why ballistics, that's why every night nearly 100 strike drones, most of which are Shaheds, and specifically against ordinary Ukrainian cities. Russian assaults on the front continue. They do not cease attacking and continue to spread hatred in their state propaganda. Only pressure, only decisive actions can change this. Every Russian ballistic missile, every cruise missile, all Russian Shaheds, all guided bombs strike not only our people, our communities, but also diplomacy, the politics of everyone truly trying to end all of this. We will continue to do everything to protect people and lives. I thank all the countries and leaders who help us. And this week's decisions on new support packages for Ukraine were very important after Ramstein and on a bilateral basis. Ukraine will definitely endure. We will definitely give for our state, for our people, reliable security guarantees. And we must remember, only together are we strong enough to achieve their goals. I thank everyone who is with Sumy today. Thank you to everyone who supports each other, who does everything to protect and strengthen Ukraine. Ukrainians, glory to Ukraine.
Well, there you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. I mean, a real sicko running the United States. A real sicko. And a real sicko regime. The world sees what it is. That's why the dollar is crashing. That's why the treasury yields are soaring. America's viewed at as having a Kim Jong-un, someone crazier than a Kim Jong-un in Donald Trump, less rational than a Kim Jong-un. We're going to keep calling it out and exposing it every single day here at the MeidasTouch Network with facts, with receipts, never giving up, never backing down, always showing you the facts that you're not getting anywhere else. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million subscribers.
New Meidas merch drop. Check out the latest pro-democracy sticker packs, t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, and more. All at store.meidastouch.com.